Welcome back to the Crochet Crowd, as well as my friends over at Yarnspirations.com. Today we're going to do the metallic mesh top. You can substitute today using Patons metallic yarn, or you could use Caron Simply Soft. Both would be absolutely amazing for this mesh top. Without further ado, let's dive into the pattern and see what we're getting ourselves into today. So here's today's pattern. It's a 2-pager. It's a very easy pattern to be able to make. We've done a floral cami before where we've done the mesh work as a top, so if you want to look that up here on YouTube, you can find that. And this one has more of a solid base here to cover up your midriff and then leaving it open so that you can wear a tank top underneath. It's a very easy design. So this is using Patons metallic yarn, and this yarn is really quite fabulous. It's got a lot of shine to it, and you'll see that it's going to turn out quite amazing. And you can also use Caron Simply Soft if you would prefer to use that kind of yarn as well. Both will turn out quite amazing. You're going to need 2 sizes of crochet hooks in order to play today. You're going to need a 5mm, a size H crochet hook today, and then you're going to need a 4mm size G crochet hook in order to play. So let's decipher a little bit more about this pattern. Let's see what we're getting ourselves into, and let's look at the shape first. So we have a basic shape, and it's a rectangle just like you see, and there's 2 pieces, front and back. They're both exactly the same, and then they're joined at the very top here from the shoulders, leaving the neckline open. So when you go to look at this from a perspective of a really rough diagram, just like you see that it's a rectangular. So we have our ribbing down at the base, and then we have our solid going across, and then we switch over to meshing. And in the top area right here, there's only 2 rows left of doing meshing. So the meshing takes you all the way to the top, and then you do 2 additional rows, and then you sew them sides up together. So you're going to sew them right when the solid starts again, all the way down through the to the ribbing. You'll do both sides, and then you'll sew across the top then to join them at the top of the shoulders. Very easy design generally, and you're going to notice that this will go pretty quickly. It didn't take me very long to make my sample that we'll show. So let me show you my sample, and then let's continue from that point. So off camera, what I've done is that I have 2 panels. One is not completely done. I'm going to be doing it with you on camera, but one is completely done, and we have our ribbing. So the ribbing here is using the smaller crochet hook of the 4mm size G, and then we switch over to the larger of the H size 5mm, and then we do the half double crochet going up into the rows. So we just need a tape measure in order to measure the distance between the bottom section and to where the mesh should start. Each one of the sizes up to 5 extra large is available to you so that you can get that measurement. So you will need a tape measure today. Then you're gonna head on into the meshing, and the meshing really quite stretchy, isn't it? So the meshing is really going to open up on you, and that's what you see within the model. So the meshing is very quick and simple. You won't have any trouble with doing that. And then you're just going to have 2 leftover rows at the top where then you'll sew it together to the opposite side. So because of the way that meshing works, it looks like that everything is revolving around, so that it gives the illusion that you actually have a neckline when it's actually the yarn doing the work itself. So I haven't woven in my ends yet. I'm going to do that as part of the finishing. So once you have one of these done, then you're just gonna sew along the tops, and then you're gonna sew right from the solid area all the way down to the ribbing section to join it, and then it becomes a tank top that you can put over the edge. So how am I gonna do today's tutorial? Let me explain that next. So today's tutorial, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to do the ribbing, and it's available up to 5 extra large, and you just have to follow the certain instruction. The only one that's really kind of confusing, if anything is confusing it at this point, is just right here, that you have to decrease some stitches in order to create that elasticity. So because you're doing ribbon, you're going to notice that it's going to be quite stretchable, and it's going to be quite fun and fabulous. Once you get this done, this one row, and I'll explain it when we get there, needs a little bit of extra attention, and then it's just straight half double crochet back and forth all the way up to the mesh. And then I'm going to show you how to do the mesh. I'll show you how to do the top of the shoulders, and then I'll show you how to do the finishing technique. So that's what we're going to be doing today. So without further ado, let's grab our 4mm size G crochet hook, and let's grab our yarn, and let's begin to play. Just before we start this pattern, you're going to notice that there's a color coding on the pattern itself. You can see extra small. You can see the sizes that you can measure yourself to so that you can start the right size. So when you get onto this pattern, you're going to notice that there are instructions in different colors, and you don't do all of the instructions. You choose the one that is matching you. So I'm gonna mine happens to be extra small, so for tutorial reasons, and so you can see all the different sizes are in different colors that match. So it says with the main color, MC is main color, chain 64, 70, 78, 88, 104, 116, Which one do you choose? Look at the color and then just look at the sizing up here, and that's the one. So anytime a decision has to be made, then you're going to notice that here in this pattern. You're also going to notice, if you're going to follow along as well, is that you'll see sizes extra small to small and medium only, and then this one's size is extra large, large and extra large only, and then you can guarantee that on the next page then sizes 2 to 3 extra large and 4 to 5 extra large has a different step. So you can really see that this instruction here, here, and here doesn't apply to them all, only to the size that you're working on, and then you pick up back here. Really quite simple. It's not a hard thing. So let's grab our crochet hook now and let's begin to do our first chain. For tutorial reasons I will be doing the extra small, but you have to follow the chain that is available in the pattern, and I'm going to be doing chaining of 64 for my size. I'm going to do a smaller size here on camera with you, and then you could just substitute that information. So if you're doing all the different sizes, look into the pattern and chain the number that it states that you saw. So extra small is 64, and then medium then is 70, large is 78, extra large is 88, 2 to 3 extra large is 104, and then 4 to 5 extra large is 116. So chain the count that you need to go in order to make it work for you. So I'm just gonna get 5 done here, and then I'll meet you back here and I'll show you how to do the ribbing. For the first row, for all of the sizes, it's all the same for everybody. So you're going to just have your chain and you're gonna go to the 4th chain from the hook. So look at the hook and count it back. So you got 1, 2, 3, and 4. So go to the 4th chain on the hook, or from the hook, and I want you to double crochet into that spot, into that chain. And so you're just gonna continue along. As you get more material into your hands, the easier this is to hold, obviously. So you're gonna work your way down the entire chain now with just double crochets, 1 into every one of the chains, and go right to the very end of the project of the chain, and meet me back there in just a moment. I'll show you how to move up to row number 2. What I want you to do at this point is that you're gonna come to the end of your row. Yours will obviously be longer, and I want you to take a spare piece of yarn and I want you to slip it through just one of the pieces of stitch work so that it pulls out of this side. You're marking the right side of your project. It's so important that you know the right side from the back side or the wrong side. Okay, so just mark it, just pull it through a stitch and just leave it as a hanger. So anytime that you see this knot on this side, you know you're looking at the right side, and when you cannot see it on the other side, you know that you're looking at the wrong side. So let's move along to row number 2. So let's turn our work and go for row number 2, and now we're gonna start establishing the ribbing. So to start the ribbing, what we're going to do is that in the very first stitch here, we're going to chain up 2, which counts as a half double crochet, and what we're going to do then in the next post that you see here, you're gonna do a back post double crochet. So wrap that hook first, come in from the back side like this, and then back out the other side. Okay, that's a back post double crochet, and just pull through and then pull through 2 and 2. So that was the next post that you did that to. Now the next post that you're going to run into, you're gonna make that a front post. So wrap the hook going in through the front side, back out, pull through, and you pull through 2 and 2. And you keep doing that all the way across so that they're opposite to each other. Okay, so the next one's gonna be a back post double crochet, and the next one will be a front post double crochet. Do you get that? So what I want you to do is do that all the way to the end. You're gonna notice that the ribbing is starting to take a look, and it will get more effective as you go, and then I want you to meet me at the end of this line when you get there. So when you get all the way to the end of the row, the last stitch that you're going to do is going to be a half double crochet right into the turning chain. So just go right into a turning chain. Don't go into a gap space, go right into a chain itself, and then just half double crochet, just like you see. So what we're gonna do then is that you're going to turn your work and you're going to do your work. So you're going to notice that when you're last finished off, you were in the back post. So this time when you go to start off in row number 3, when you turn it around, okay, that back post is now on the front side. So it's a matter of that you know what you're looking at. So you're gonna chain up 2, okay, and then you're gonna immediately jump to the post. So you're going to keep anything on the front and anything on the back in equal to each other. So this one's on the front, so you're just gonna continue to keep it on the front. So make that a front post double crochet, and the next one you can see that it's sunk back and behind, so that's a back post double crochet. So you're gonna just match everything to what you see. So the next one's a front post, And as you work your way across, the more work that you can hold into your hand here, the easier it becomes. So you'll notice that you may have struggled a little bit in the first opening area, but as you continue to build up in this area, you'll notice that it's easier to hold. So this is what it is, and that you just have to continue to repeat what you know already. So this is row number 3, and so you're just continuing along, and then we're just gonna quickly cover number 4, which is kind of the same thing that you're already doing. You're just maintaining, and then I will tell you what we need to do in order to finish this area, because you'll notice that the ribbing is actually quite a substantial height in the project, which is not a big deal. It just means that you just got a little bit of work ahead of you. So you just continue to go, and just in the very last stitch you are going to half double crochet. So when you turn your work, you're gonna go for row number 4. So row number 4, you can see that this post here is in behind, so you're gonna maintain that. So chain up just like 2, counts as a half double crochet, and immediately come to the first post, which is in behind, and keep that in behind, and continue to do that as a back post double crochet and maintain. So that's all you have to do for the ribbing, is just keep turning it, and you can tell by the stitch marker that I'm looking at the back side of this, because the stitch marker is attached to the other side. So what I want you to do is that I want you to go all the way across, and then I'm gonna quickly review on what you need to do for the ribbing, because you need to get to a certain height, and I'll show you my example, and the height is the same on all sizes on how far that you need to go. Okay, so I'll see you at the end of this row. So I'm now at the end of the row, and you can see that it's starting to turn out pretty good. So the original sample, the ridging is much higher, so it's a 2.5 inch span. It doesn't matter which size you're doing, they're all 2.5 inches, and so you're gonna continue to go back and forth repeating rows number 3 and 4, and when you're finished you'll end up on row number 4, and you'll take a measuring tape and measure 2.5 inches before moving on to this project. So you just have to keep going back and forth, and then meet me here then once you get your 2.5 inches done, and then do not fasten off, and then I'm gonna show you how to work the next part of the project, and this is probably the most complicated of it all. So I'll see you back here in just a moment. So in the next part of the project, there's 3 sets of instructions. You have to choose the size that means something to you. So if you're doing the extra small to medium, then you have to do this one. Large to extra large is the next one, and then the other instructions are right on the very top of the next page. So let's talk a little bit about what it is, and I'm gonna show you an example here with the actual extra small to small. So it says chain 1, okay, and this says 1 single crochet into the next 28 stitches. Now 28 matches the color, so that I know that that's what I'm doing, but if I was doing the medium, then I would do 31. And then it says single crochet 2 together twice, and then it says 1 single crochet in the last. So what happens is that you're going to do 1 single crochet in the next 28, and then single crochet the next 2 together, then do another 28 single crochets, and then do single crochet together, and you should be left with 1 stitch left at the end, and it'll be 1 single crochet. So if you're in the next section here, if it was large to extra large, it says chain 1, 1 single crochet in each of the next, and the 13 is the large, and then extra large is 15, and then it says single crochet 2 together 5 times. So what this means is that you'll single crochet in the next 13, and then do single crochet together, and then because it's 5 times you'll do that again. So single crochet in the next 13, and then 2 together. Continue to do that all the way to the end. Your final stitch will be the 2 together. Finally, if you're into the bigger sizes that you have here, it says chain 1, 1 single crochet into the next 2 stitches, single crochet 2 together, and then 1 single crochet into the next 12 stitches, and then it says 7 or 8 times. So you just gotta choose the color that means something to you, and you continue to do that, and both sizes will end up with having 1 single crochet in the last, and then you'll turn and get ready for the next set of instructions. So this is the only part of this pattern that really takes a detour depending on the size you're working on. Hopefully you've explained that well. So let me just get you back on the pattern, and right now you have to change out your hook from the 4mm to size G now to the 5mm size H crochet hook, and now retire that other hook, get it out, and because now you're gonna move on to do the first pass across. So let's do that. So using the set of instructions that I just told you, my sample is much smaller, but you need to follow those examples, but I'm gonna show you how to do 2 together. So you have to start off and you have to chain up 1, and then you're just gonna just follow the instructions, and let's just do, for me, I'm just gonna do 3 single crochets in a row. So just do 1 and then you're just gonna go in, because you're using a big hook, it's gonna make this part of the work expand out. So let's review how to do 2 stitches together, 2 single crochets. So you're gonna come into the next stitch, pull through and hold it, and then go into the next stitch, pull through and hold it, and you'll have 3 loops on your hook. Pull through all 3, and so that was a single crochet 2 together. So in the instructions that it gave you, it said how many stitches that you need to do and then how many that you have to put 2 together. So it was just like 1 2 together and then a repeat. So remember, for the extra small to a small and medium that I'm working on, it said single crochets 28 in a row, and then the next 2 are together, and then it was 28 in a row, and then the next 2 together. So that's how you do your 2 together. So just quickly review, you go into the next stitch, pull through, go into the next stitch, pull through, and then you got 3 loops, pull through all 3. So follow the instruction there and meet me back here in just a moment, and then we'll move our way up into this project. As you're coming up all the way across, don't forget that there's a post here, and then there's a half double crochet that was sitting on the outside. Don't forget that those are 2 different stitches at the end. It's easy because the way that it looks is that you think it might be 1, and so I got the one with the front post, and now I have to go into the next one, which is part of the half double crochet that I had started with. Okay, so you're gonna do that all the way to the end. You'll see that it has nice balance, and then you're gonna turn your work, and then we're gonna move up and do half double crochets for a certain distance. So it says that a half double crochet counts as the first half double crochet, or chain 2 counts as the first half double crochet. I have to say that I lose count very easily when I do it conventionally like that, so I'll show you my way, but you can do it however you prefer. You're gonna chain up 2, and it says that counts as a stitch, and then you move to the next one. I always lose count, so I put 1 right into the bottom of that one, into the same stitch as a half double crochet, just like that, and I move across just doing half double crochets. So that's all these rows are now. It's just half double crochets for a certain distance going in the height. So I'm gonna move my way all the way down to the other side, and then I'm just gonna review quickly. And the reason why I put that 1 right at the base is that I tend to always drop 1 stitch in the end. I don't know why I do it, but I do it, and because I know I do that, I compensate for myself by doing it conventionally, with just not including it as a half double crochet. Again, do what you most prefer and love for yourself. So you come right into the end and you're half double crocheting. So you turn your work, and then you half double crochet yourself back. So chain 2, and then right into the base of that first one you're gonna half double crochet again, and continuing all the way across. So you're just gonna work your way back and forth in the rows, and then when I come back in just a moment, I'll tell you how many of these rows that you have to do. Well, I won't really tell you the rows. I'll tell you what the measurement is, because it's all based on measurements at this point until we start doing the mesh, and then we'll come back and we'll do the mesh with you then, because the mesh is the same pretty much for everybody. It's just more of a distance to cover across, that's all. So let's just continue to go, and I'm coming right to the end of the last one, and that's it. Okay, so you just keep on going, and you should end up with a nice flat line. So because this is condensed here, you'll notice that it will puff out. So let me just show you that on the example. So you'll notice, if I just back the camera out a little bit here, you'll notice that it puffs out, and that's because there is tension here because of the hook size. So it'll puff out on you. So if it's not going straight up at this point, don't worry about it. That's part of the pattern. But once you get to a certain height, it then should travel up in a straight line. So let's continue to talk about how much distance that you need, and let's go from that point. So on page number 2, it's all about the half double crochets, and we are right here. So all sizes, and we have to go to a certain distance. So the colors are represented right here. So it's 14 inches, 15 inches, 16 inches, and you choose the color that matters to you. So what you have to do is that you have to end up on the wrong side. And how do you know that? Well, the wrong side, what happens is that you end up with that stitch marker will tell you which side that you're gonna end up on. So what you have to just do is that you just have to half double crochet all the way up. So you measure right from the bottom of the piece all the way to the top right here. So that'll be 14 inches if you're this size, and etc. So you just have to do that, and then once you get to the very end, you're gonna mark it with a stitch marker, and those stitch markers on both sides will then indicate where you're gonna sew these together when you put the 2 panels together. So you just have to look at here, and just have to make sure that you're paying attention, and just continue to do that. And what I would do is do one all the way to the mesh. Don't start the mesh, but do the next one, and then take both and then count the amount of rows, and make sure that you're ready to go so that you have the exact same count on the front side and the back side. So let's meet you at the top there, and I'm going to be pulling out an example. I'm gonna be showing you the mesh actually on the project itself, and we're gonna carry on from that point. So as we come to the top of the mesh area, before we start the mesh, is that we have to pay attention to this instruction right here, and I'm just noticing at this now after I've actually done the sample, and it says ending on the wrong side, that's what WS means, it says decrease 2 0 1 3 1 0 stitches evenly. So what you have to do is decreasing by just doing 2 together, and it's telling you to get rid of some stitches out. So this was the extra small just that we worked on, and these are the different sizes. So if you got a 0, you don't have to worry at this point. So just single or just go across with a half double crochet, and then everybody else we just have to take out 2 stitches somewhere. So if you do a half double crochet 2 together, okay, so let's just write that down. If we do single crochet 2 together, okay, that is gonna make it 1 stitch is gone, but you're gonna have to do it somewhere else. Okay, so you're gonna have to figure out somewhere else that you want to do it. So it's saying to do it evenly across here, and then therefore it'll stay in balance when you're ready to go for the next round. So make sure you do that, and you just have to pull up your work and just you're gonna half double crochet yourself. So I just happened to fasten off when I did this before, so you're just gonna continue to go and gonna go across as a half double crochet. So where you think it should be, if I have to eliminate 2 stitches, I would probably choose the middle, the midsection. Probably let me back out the camera here, is so I would probably choose like close to the outside and probably to the other side here, and therefore it'll stay in balance. And to do a half double crochet 2 together, then what you can just do is that you just wrap the hook, and then going into the next stitch pull through, okay, wrap the hook, going into the next stitch pull through, and then pull through all 5 loops. And so 2 stitches just became 1. So then you're gonna continue then to half double crochet yourself across until you have to do it again if you're forced to, and if it requires you to do so, therefore you'll stay in balance with your stitches. So when I come back, we'll start doing the mesh. For doing the mesh, it's really quite simple. We have our half double crochets that you've been working with, and we're gonna start up doing it, and we're gonna chain up 1 and 1 single crochet into the top of the first half double crochet here, and then we're going to chain 5, and we're gonna skip 3 half double crochets and single into the next. Chain 5, skip 3, and then single into the next, and you're gonna continue to do that, and it will stay in balance just like you see here. And then we're gonna move up then to row number 2, and we're going to chain a total of 5, so 3 of them count as a double crochet, so I did it this way, and then it's gonna single crochet right into this space of the 5 chains, and then you're gonna chain 5, single crochet in the next, chain 5, single crochet in the next, and then when you're going to the end you're gonna chain 2 and double crochet into the final. Then in number 3 you're going to chain up 1, 1 single crochet in the top of the double crochet, then chain 5, and then single into this space here, and then chain 5, single to the space. So what you need to pay attention is that row number 2 and 3 are slightly different. In order to maintain the mesh, you have to just pay attention that they are both different because of the way that it alternates, just like so. So let's begin row number 1 and getting the mesh established. So to get our mesh established, I just fastened off before, but you didn't have to. I just did because of tutorial reasons. So now I'm gonna chain up 1, and I'm gonna single crochet into the first half double crochet. Okay, so now I'm gonna chain 5, so 1 2 3 4 and 5, and I want to skip 3 stitches, so 1 2 and 3, go to the 4th, and I want you to single crochet. That's all I'm gonna do all the way across. So chain 5, so 1 2 3 4 and 5, skip 3, 1 2 and 3, go to the 4th, single crochet. You're gonna do that all the way. In the odd chance that you are not in balance and you're left with an extra stitch, or you have one, you can fake it right at the end of this very easily. Mesh is great for that. So you're gonna keep on chaining 5, skipping 3, go to the 4th, and single crochet in the next, and do that all the way across for row number 1. So when you come to the very final end, you're just gonna single crochet into the last stitch. Now what I would do is if this is your second one like it is for me, make sure that you have the same amount of counts that you have for these open spaces so that it's in balance with the first one that you did. If it's your first one, don't worry about it, but make sure the second one has the same amount of stitches so that you end up with the same same amount of mesh. So let's begin row number 2. So let's turn our work and do row number 2. So to start row number 2, so every time you're doing row number 2, and we're gonna keep repeating this, you're gonna chain 5. So 3 of them is considered a double crochet. So 1 2 3, there's your double crochet. 4, 5 is a chain 2, and you have to pay attention to that. So into this chain 5 space, the first one, you're going to single crochet right around the space and now chain 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then jump to the next chain space, single crochet, and then chain 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then go to the next chain space and continue to do that all the way across. I'll meet you at the end of this row. When you get all the way to the last chain space, okay, this is happening every time you hit row number 2. So you're going to chain up a total of 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you're going to go into that chain 5 space. So but you're not done. So don't finish here because you're not done. So now you're going to chain 2, 1 and 2, and then you're going to double crochet into this first single crochet. Okay, and you're gonna do that every time you do that. So then this puts it as a half right in the end. So in one row you get a full jump, in the second row you get a partial jump, and then it changes to the full. So on the other side it was the same way. You had a full jump here, and then this was a partial. This was your chain 5. So this was a double crochet and chain 2. So continue now to move up to row number 3, and you want to continue now to repeat rows number 2 and 3 up until it gets to a certain amount of inches, and you will see that it's either 7.5, 8, 8.5, 8.5, 9, or 9.5, and you're just gonna lay it down, and you're going to measure, and you should measure the mesh without it stretching like this, and measure at the distance, and in my case because it's extra small it was 7.5 inches. So what I want to do is that I want to continue up. So let's move up to chain our row number 3. So to begin again, it's chain up 1 and then single crochet into the top of the first double and then jump over 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and then jump to the next space available to you like so. So this was row number 3. You do that all the way across, and then you come back and do row number 2 all over again. So in the end what happens is that you should see a full jump, a half jump, full, half, and keep doing that back and forth till you get to the height that you need as per the pattern. So when I come back I'm gonna show you how to do the arms. As far as the shoulders, there's only 2 more rows to go on each side. Very quick and easy. So let's continue to do the mesh all the way to the top of the neckline. Just as a quick reminder, when you get to the very end of the project like so, you're going to end up with this chain. Remember that it was chaining of 5. So in order to complete this you're still gonna chain 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, but you're gonna go into the third chain up on this section here, and you're gonna go right into the actual stitch itself, and you're gonna finish it off with a single crochet. So therefore you can maintain that so that you have a full jump, a half, and a full. So that's the only thing that you have to pay attention to in row number 3. So continue all the way up to the top of the neckline. So now we're ready to shape the neck, and we're gonna do the top of the shoulders, and this is the right side and this is left. So what I did is that I measured up on the one first, and then I made sure that there's the same amount of boxes going up. So I count up on an angle because it's easiest, and so I have a total of 14 going up. So 14 boxes right to the top. You have to make sure that you end up here on this row, and this row here was number 2. Okay, so it's ending up in that partial right in the end, and it will be like that on both sides obviously. So now what we're gonna do is that we're gonna just do 2 rows of this. Okay, we're gonna go partial way across and then back and then do another row, and then what we're going to do then is attach to this side and do this. And I'm gonna show you a tip. In the unlikely event that you have screwed up, make sure that you're counting the amount of spaces that you're using when you go to do this section. So for example, if I'm gonna use a total of 4 of these, make sure that I only use 4 on the other side to keep it in balance with each other. So I wouldn't frog if it's not matching the directions. Sometimes you just gotta fake it or make it. So let's start off and let's do our very first one here. It's really quite easy. We're just gonna continue the mesh, but we're gonna stop a little bit early because we're only doing one side. So we're gonna just chain up 1 and 1 single crochet into the first double crochet, and you have been doing that all the way across anyway. And so then you're going to chain your 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you just come to the next space and single crochet. And it says to repeat that a total of 3 more times. Okay, so we want to do that, and this is my size. So just look at the repeats that is in the instructions. So you have either repeat 3, 4, 4, 5, 6, or 7 depending on your size. and so that's because the mesh would be obviously larger than to accommodate larger sizes. So then we have chaining of 5 again, so 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and go to the next space. So that was repeat one of 3. Do it again, and then going in, and then I'm gonna do it one more time for my size. Okay, and once you get that done, you're just gonna go right into the space, and that's it. You're gonna stop. So in my size here, I'm only using just 4 kind of loops that you see right in the very top. Make sure you pay attention to that. So now what we're just gonna do is just turn our work and just do the last row coming back in the other direction. So this will be the last time you have to worry about this, and so it's just like you had before. So this is a full one right at the end. So then you're just gonna chain your 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's your double crochet and chain 2, go right into the space, and you're gonna maintain what you already know. Okay, so then chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then coming back in to the next one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, come back to the next, and you keep doing that all the way to the end. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, come to the next, and you're not done. Remember, this row is like before, so it's a partial, so just chain 2 and then half double crochet, or sorry, full do a full double crochet right into the beginning. So now you're technically done, and so you had your neckline come up, and now you can see it's partially lifted up. And what I'm gonna do now is just fasten this yarn off. I'm gonna do all my finishing techniques in the end, and I'm just gonna trim my yarn, and then I'm just gonna let it hold, and I'm gonna turn my project back around now and begin the next side. So I'm just gonna take it back, okay, and what I'm gonna do now is then start on this side. So I'm looking at the front side of the project again, and now I'm just gonna pick up where I left off, but I'm gonna leave a gap space. So let me cover that next. To combat the idea that your neck may be out of alignment, what I want you to do is look at the other neckline here, and I want you to count the amount of spaces. So see how this is the top here? Follow that one here and follow it to where the ones are attached above, and count the amount of gaps underneath. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4 and a half. Okay, so you want to do that. So you can either count and say it says skip the amount, or you can do that. Then what I would do on this side is that count it the other way. So you got a half, and 1, 2, 3 and 4. So this here is where it is on the other side. So what I want to do is just attach my yarn, okay, and I want to attach it with a slip stitch, and I'm gonna worry about my tails in after it, and just attach it with a slip stitch, and then I want you to chain 1 and single crochet into that same spot. Don't worry about those loose ends right now. So what I'm gonna do then is just continue to know what I know. So I'm gonna chain 5, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, jump to the next space, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, go to the next, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And remember that this is partial, so you're gonna go into the 3rd chain up. Okay, so like I had before, you'll see that there's 4 spaces, so you got 1, 2, 3 and 4. So now let's just turn our work and finish this off. So it's only 2 rows to go, and so this was a full one last time, so this time it's a partial, so it's only chain 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 counts as a double crochet and chain 2, and then you're just gonna go into the first space with a single, and then 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then come to the other one, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, come to the next one, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, come to the last one that you have, but you're not quite done. You're gonna single crochet, and you're gonna treat it like you had been before, because it's a partial. So chain 2 and a double crochet right into the very first single crochet. So then that completes that one right that you see here. So what we can do now is fasten this stuff off, and now we're gonna use our darning needle, and we're gonna start hiding in some of these loose ends, and I'll show you how to do that, and then we're gonna do our sewing techniques of putting the edges together. So meet me back here, and I'll show you how to hide these loose ends. So what I want to do on both panels is that I want to go in and hide these loose ends, and so any loose ends that I have I want to take care of now, before I put it together. So just put it onto a darning needle, and if you just slide it in and out of the stitch work 3 times, just bury it underneath the stitches, don't let it impede onto the outside of the project to make it look like it will change the difference. And then you're gonna go back and forth on the project a total of 3 times. So this is 2, and then back in the other direction a 3rd time. Just like that. So that's it. So what you're gonna do is every time you have a loose end, that's what I want you to do, and I'm gonna just do all of that off camera, and then I'll meet you back here, and what I'll do is then I'll show you how to put all this together. Okay, so now what we're gonna do, now that I have all my loose ends taken care of, is that I'm gonna put it together. So I have what you can see here as the right side, so the wrong side is on the outside of the project just here, and I wanna take the other project that I have, so the other one, and I wanna lay it down on top, and I want to keep it so that the right side is also facing on the inside of the project. So the right side on this one is on the inside. So if this is the wrong side, and if I look at this side it's the wrong side, and what we're gonna do is that we're gonna sew up along the sides, and if you didn't mark it with the stitch marker on the outside, doesn't really matter. You're just gonna follow exactly where you see. So where the mesh started all the way down to the end here to the ribbing, you're gonna sew, and then you're gonna sew the top section of the arm of the shoulders there. So in order to do this, what I would strongly recommend that you do is that you just use the same yarn. Okay, so you might as well use it. It's very strong anyway. And I want you to create a slip knot on the opposite side right here. So now what I'm just gonna do is that I'm gonna start off in the bottom, and I'm just gonna go on the outside edge area, just right in the ribbing section, and I'm gonna just feed through. Now I'm not gonna pull it all the way through. What I want to do is that I want to stop right where that slip stitch is right here, or that slip knot, and I'm gonna put that through, and that'll lock it into position. So now all I'm just gonna do is whip stitch this together, so just matching the sides together as that I want to just go across and just put them together. Now this loose end that I have that I'm working with now is that I'm just burying it as I go. So just getting it stuck underneath the stitch work as I go across. So this stitch will go down, or that yarn will go down over top. So when you do this, you don't want to have too much extra tension. You just want to be kind of loose about it, but you want to be firm as well. So make sure that when you go to do this, that it's not going to buckle your work, and pay attention to where things are. So you can see the ribbing is here and here. So just kind of pay attention to make sure that you're kind of aligning it as closely as you can with each other. So that's how you're gonna do it, and then the top is the same way. You're just gonna go across the top section of the mesh just right here at the top, and just put it together and just whip stitch through the chain itself and match it, and then just make sure you leave your armholes open and your neck open, and do the other side and so forth. So that's it for today's project. This is how you do this particular idea. It's really quite an easy project to do, just a little bit of labor, but you know what, it's clothing, so it's a lot of fun too. So the reward is that you'll be able to get to wear this at the end. So when you're all done, all you just need to do is just turn it around. So you were working with the sewing on the inside of this, so now you're gonna turn it around, and now you're looking at the good side, and just give it a good shaping, and just kind of tug on it, and now you have your new tank top. It's really quite beautiful, and everything looks great, and it's just a matter of wearing it, and you can imagine how you would look in something like this. So until next time, I'm Mikey on behalf of the Crochet Crowd as well as Yarnspirations.com. See ya.